How's it going, guys? This is Trey Bell, and this is Arcane Frequencies. And tonight, we are yet reviewing another Current 93 album. But this will be the last Current 93 album I review, at least for a while. Since we've got to our number 5 album streak for one particular band, I feel we should celebrate with the latest and greatest of this band, and that is The Light is Leaving Us All, Current 93. Now, before I even want to get into anything, today is David Tibet's birthday, so I want to just give a shout out to David Tibet wherever he is out there and say, Happy birthday, bro. Like, really glad that you were born in this world because, oh my goodness, I love your music. But really glad that you were born into this world and you gave your and still are you're still giving your message. It's a very unique message. It's an important message. Probably not even a message that you're fully aware of, but you're just being you. You're being pure, and I feel like I also operate in the same way when it comes to like my creative output of any sorts. And I feel like I really relate to your music a lot, even the most freakish stuff. Like I really relate to it, and I'm just happy that like I've been able to just be. I'm just happy that I can be able to listen to a certain type of music that I feel like I won't get anywhere else. You can't manufacture this type of music. Like this is pure authentic art, and it doesn't care about being known. It just cares about being what it is and getting the people that it can. And you have a huge supporter. So happy 61st birthday to David Tibet. So The Light is Leaving Us All. This is one of the most latest projects from Current 93 to this date. This came out in 2018. So this is a really recent project, and it's a project that's like within this time frame of like me being a fan of them. So this is some new stuff. This is some fresh current 93 stuff. And honestly, most of the things I have to say about this album, honestly, you can honestly go to the Needle Drop and look at his review of The Light is Leaving Us All. I'll put it in the link in the descriptions below and probably up there too, wherever it goes, or there. Yeah. But either way, if you've seen that particular review, I feel like there's not much I will have to say about this album that I haven't already said about the last two albums, because again, this is another solid project from Current 93, and they're not really showcasing any of their dark ambient stuff that they did back in the early 80s. So I feel like they'll definitely never go back to that style, nor should they, but I would say there's sprinkles of it with this album, because the thing about this particular album, I still hold it in the same vein as All the Pretty Little Horses and also the album Thunder Perfect Mind. And the thing about what I feel like The Light is Leaving Us All is doing a little bit differently is that, well, first of all, it's actually a very standard album. Probably their most standard album, at least to my knowledge, because there's no songs on here that pass the 8-minute mark. Hell, honestly, every song on here I feel like is a reasonable length. So with most Current 93 projects, you at least have that one or two songs that extends to like 9 minutes, and it's just this whole long experience where it's like, no, this is a really normal album for them. But I won't say that in a way where it takes away, because I do feel like they do even add a little bit of newness when it comes to their style, even if it's only slight. And I think that comes in the form of just how I wouldn't even say simple. It's just there's just a certain aesthetic of embracing this neo folk sound that they've done for a while, but they there's just something particular about this album that I can't put my finger on why like it's so good. Maybe because it was made in a time period that like I was born in, or I was aware of their music, so like I was able to like be excited about it when it was gonna come out, or when it did come out. But I don't know. It's dealing with the same subject matters that they usually do, but I would definitely say this is David being more food for thought than any of his other projects, because earlier catalog it was just embracive counterculture, you know, industrial in your face type of stuff. And then they kind of gradually transition into just being weird, where now it's just like there's a lot of gems in this album where of statements, you know, for example. So with this album, it starts off with the song "The Birds Are Sweetly Singing," and let me just say, like the way that this starts off, it's not even. I'm not even gonna say it's like that bone chilling in the way that Dog's Blood Rising was, or Swastikas Fernati were, or any of their other projects. Like it still has that ominousness to it, but again, like I said, like it just feels more sophisticated. It's like every album that they do, progressing through the '90s on through like this neo folk type of stuff, is it feels like it's every time it's just more philosophical in my opinion. And I am aware, like, I actually have not reviewed any of their albums from the 2000s, and I remember, and I was able to be aware that that was also a very particular time period where it seems like they definitely even stripped back more and actually became much more of a normal band. And if you watch an Anthony Fantano's review of this album, this is actually them kind of going back to form, but not in a full way, but just more just going back to form, but adding a little bit of a tinge to it. And again, like I kind of hold this in regards as I feel like this album is definitely similar, like all the Pretty Little Horses and just that core neo folk stuff. But I don't know. I think the reason why I have not much to specifically say is because this is just a very normal album for them, at least when it comes to Current 93. Like I said in every Current 93 review, it still may be a slightly strange, but this is their most normal album. And God, there are so many beautiful things on this album. Like, just the instrumentations. Like, yes, it's consistent acoustic and woodwind types of instruments, but just to go through a few of them, it's just like, specifically just the instrumentation that you hear on "A Thousand Witches," and you just hear this. Maybe it's a flute of some sort, some type of wood. It just goes like, do 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 dum dum do dum dum do do. And then his lyrics, oh my goodness, on this song. And I like this song a lot because I do kind of have a thing for witches, specifically redheaded witches. By the rivers of Babylon, we slept and did not see. The light is leaving us all. So now consider the generation of witches, 1,000 witches in the room, whilst the birds are sweetly singing. 1,000 witches, and the house in the fields, and your heart inside them all is indoor. 1,000 witches in Lower Quinton. 1,000 witches by Hagley Wood. And Agnes, Anna, Hannah. 16 witches in Long Compton. And the light is leaving us all. That's another thing about this album that I think I like about it, is that knowing how repetitive Current 93 can be with some of their subject matters and their musics, or making chants, or constant refrains or certain statements, this is one of them. Like, the light is leaving us all, that title is literally said on every single song in this album multiple times. The light is leaving us all. And the light is leaving us all. The light is leaving us all. That's literally what most of every song is. And in a sense, yeah, I can see maybe some people might be irritated by that, or it just might get a little bit obnoxious or like, really? But I feel like when it comes to a band like this is a good, I feel like with David, this was actually a good move. Just in a way where it kind of weaves this whole entire album together, because aesthetically, like, there's, I'm not saying it's lacking, but it definitely isn't doing as much as it has on other albums, I feel. And that's not a bad thing. It's just more, I feel like, when it comes to the repetition of that statement, it does create, like, this forced type of, like, indulgence in it of like, all right, so the light is leaving us all. He's trying to make a statement about what, whether it's your soul or whatever you feel like your light is, like, the light is going to eventually leave us all. So I feel like this also could represent, like, death as a sense, and maybe not death in the, literal form all the time, but death in a mental form or personality form. Like, who knows? Like, this, you can interpret these lyrics in so many ways. And yeah, it's just like, honestly, with most of their music, like, I feel like this is literally David Tibet cutting out all the fat and just giving you food for thought type of stuff. He's not trying to, wow you with his creepiness or craziness. Like, still, again, like, yeah, there are a few songs still on here. Like, you have to have a few creepy songs, but even the creepy songs are probably, a children's show to most of, like, their earlier shit. One song that I know is, kind of has a hauntingness to it is the song The Postman is Singing. I would say this is, like, the only song that kind of gives you like a dangerous type of vibe, but it's nowhere near compared to anything off of Dog's Blood Rising. If anything, like, it's still within that realm of, like, this feels like it could be a good soundtrack to, a suspense movie or a horror movie. Honestly, with this one, it feels like more of an action movie. I'm not sure. Maybe a combination of both, all of them. But yeah, this is, yeah, I don't really know if there's much else I can say about this album other than this is another good, solid Current 93 album that I would rather show, the person who's not used to listening to, like, weird avant-garde music. But it's also their latest and, like, most recent project, and to know that, like, David Tibet is still at it in this day and age, within the last fucking 3 years, came out with a project and other little collaborative projects and ideas and things. It's just like, this dude is, he is really, really dedicated to his craft, no matter how old he is. I know he's 61. He just turned 61 today. Again, happy birthday. But yeah, The Light is Leaving Us All. This is a really good album. Don't really know if there's much else I can say about this. I just kind of just want to, again, I feel like Anthony Fantano has a better review of what I can do. He pretty much said everything that I want to say about this album. Like, if anything, I'll just, like, read some of my favorite lyrics or songs. The Policeman is Dead. That's the second track off this album. I like this song a lot too, because it's just another good neo-folk album, another good neo-folk song. It's just like, you got the acoustic guitars going in, like, and it just continues with that, and it's just like, it's like I'm embracing something, and I'm just like, whoa, but I feel like I'm also being ready for something. Like, I will definitely say another difference about this album than other albums, even though there's still somber aspects of it. I feel like I feel more energized from this album for some reason. Yeah, but this album came out in 2018, October 13. I actually remember the day I actually listened to this album during that time period vividly. I was in my bed and I was like, sweet, Current 93, another album. Oh my goodness, and it's new. And I just sat there and listened to it. I was like, wow, he still has it after all these years. He still fucking got it. So, it's honestly, this whole album, I would say this showcases, very good poetry coming from David Tibet. A lot of food for thought. Nothing too strange. Just another good experience. If anything, I guess like the message that I take away from it the most is just, eventually like the light will leave everyone, and hold on to your light, or try to embrace your light as much as is possible, because you only have it for a little amount of time. And as people, and as I feel like Current 93 and David Tibet continues, his work and throughout his life, he's just going to always try to give you food for thought when it comes to how you should endure life and things you need to think about. Enjoy life, but just be aware that nothing's forever. Enjoy the moment. Figure out who you are. Figure out what you need to do, because once that light's gone, it's gone. I'm Trey Bell, and I am out. And also remember, the light is leaving us all. Bye-bye.
There's the odor of essence, and I double in pain as I play through the past, arrayed on my mind in the room where a bed is. As I gripped in the bag, I'm gripping a hand.